It was a crisp Tuesday morning, trash day in Willow Creek, and I stepped outside to a sight that stopped me cold. My garbage bin, which I'd dragged to the curb the night before with military precision, was now a chaotic mess, overflowing with bags that sure as hell weren't mine. I squinted, spotting grocery store bag from a store I'd never set foot in, greasy takeout containers, and what looked like chunks of drywall poking out like jagged teeth. Who does this? I thought, my breath puffing in the chilly air. I'd only been in this neighborhood a month, and while Willow Creek seemed like a postcard-perfect suburb, the iron grip of its HOA was already giving me headaches. I started poking through the mess, gingerly lifting a bag to see if I could find a clue, an envelope, a receipt, anything. That's when I heard it. The sharp saw clack saw of heels on asphalt, like a metronome set to Furious. I looked up, and there she was, striding across my lawn like she owned a woman in her 50s. Blonde hair, sculpted into a bob, so perfect it could have been a Lego piece. "Stop touching that," she barked, her face already pink with outrage. I put it there. She jabbed a manicured finger at a laminated badge pinned to her cardigan, which read Linda Harper, HOA board member. I blinked, trying to process this. "Excuse me," I said, my voice calm but edged with confusion. "This is my bin. Why's your trash in it?" Linda crossed her arms, looking at me like I was a toddler who'd spilled juice on her couch. "Because," she said, her voice dripping with superiority, "the HOA bylaws clearly state that waste management resources can be allocated as needed by board members. My bin's full, and as a representative, I have the right to use available space." I stood there, dumbfounded. I'd heard whispers about Linda at a neighborhood barbecue how she'd crowned herself the queen of rule enforcement since joining the board 3 years ago. One guy told me she'd slapped a citation on his mailbox for being too reflective. Another said she'd been caught snapping photos of people's porches, hunting for decorative violations. But dumping her trash in my bin? That was a new kind of audacity. "Linda," I said, keeping my tone, even am a mediator at a law firm, so I'm used to handling egos. "I'm new here, still figuring out the rules, but I'm pretty sure the HOA doesn't let you use someone else's bin like the public dumpster." Her lips curled into a smug smile. "That's where you're wrong," she shot back. Section 12, paragraph 4 of the bylaws covers communal waste responsibilities. As the overflow allocation officer, I'm well within my rights. Overflow allocation officer? I raised an eyebrow. Is that even a real thing? Her smile flickered, but she doubled down. "Of course it is. I've been managing waste distribution here for years. Your bin was half empty, and mine's been overflowing for weeks. It's about efficiency." I glanced across the street at her house. Her bin was a disaster, trash bags spilling over like a volcano mid-eruption. Something wasn't adding up. "I'd like to see those bylaws," I said, pulling out my phone where I had a digital copy. "Show me where it says you can do this." Linda's face turned a shade redder. "You newcomers," she spat, her voice rising, "always thinking you know better than those of us who've kept this neighborhood pristine for years. Touch that trash, and I'll slap you with a $200 fine for interfering with HOA operations." By now, we were drawing a crowd. A couple walking their dogs slowed to a crawl, eyes wide. Curtains twitched in nearby windows. This was turning into the morning's entertainment. I scrolled through my contacts, finding Tom, the HOA president who I'd met when I closed on the house. "I'm calling Tom to sort this out," I said, keeping my voice steady. Linda's eyes widened, and then, out of nowhere, she whipped out her phone and started recording herself. "I'm being harassed by the new resident at 42 Willow Creek," she declared, narrating like she was starring in a true crime documentary. "He's refusing to comply with waste management protocols and threatening me. I feel unsafe performing my duties." I stood there, jaw slack. "Linda, I'm just asking you to take your trash out of my bin," I said, baffled by her Oscar-worthy performance. "Do saw not saw use my first name?" she shrieked, loud enough to startle a squirrel. "That's a personal attack, and it'll be in my report." The crowd grew. My neighbor Mike wandered out with his coffee, looking equal parts worried and amused. An elderly couple across the street planted themselves on their porch, watching like it was a soap opera. A young woman I didn't know started filming from 2 houses down, her phone aimed at Linda's meltdown. Linda, fueled by the attention, kept going. "The bylaws mandate support for communal waste initiatives," she bellowed, stepping forward to shove a trash bag deeper into my bin, as if staking her claim. This neighborhood was perfect before people like you started questioning authority. I took a deep breath. "Ma'am, you're on my property, messing with my bin. Please remove your trash." She froze, then snapped. "I don't have to do a damn thing. Touch those bags, and I'll fine you so fast your head'll spin." Mike stepped closer, trying to defuse things. "Linda," maybe she cut him off. "Stay out of this, Michael. Your Christmas lights were up 3 days late last year, so don't test me." Just then, a silver SUV rolled up, and out stepped Tom, the HOA president, looking like a man who'd seen this MOVYE before. "What's going on?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. Linda pounced. "Tom, thank God. I was performing standard overflow allocation when this resident attacked my authority. He's hostile, refusing protocols." Tom glanced at the bin, then at me, his face settling into a tired frown. "Linda," he said, "we've been over this. There's no overflow allocation in the bylaws. You can't use other people's bins. It's against city sanitation codes." Linda's confidence cracked. "But Section 12, Tom," cut her off. "Section 12 is about community property, not private bins. What you're doing is illegal." The crowd murmured. Linda's face cycled through shock, fury, and denial. "The bylaws are vague," she insisted. "As a board member, I have discretion. This is a witch hunt because I'm the only one enforcing standards." Tom sighed. "Linda, take your trash and go home. We'll talk at the board meeting." But Linda wasn't done. "This is corruption," she screamed, flinging a trash bag onto my driveway. "You don't want it in your bin? Fine. Here's your precious property." She grabbed another, tossing it with a flourish. "Linda, stop," Tom barked, but she kept going, scattering trash like a toddler in a tantrum. "I've given everything to this community, and this is how I'm treated?" Tom pulled out his phone. "I'm calling the police." Linda laughed, unhinged. "Go ahead. They'll see how you're all harassing a dedicated board member." 15 minutes later, 2 cops pulled up, taking in the surreal scene. Linda, clutching a garbage bag, ranting about standards, while my lawn looked like a landfill. "Ma'am, can you stop throwing trash and talk to us?" one officer asked. Linda whirled around. "Finally, law enforcement. These people are targeting me for upholding rules." The officer stayed calm. "Did you put your trash in this man's bin and scatter it on his property?" Linda's voice hit a fever pitch. "I was exercising my rights. The HOA president is corrupt, and these residents disrespect protocol." The cops listened to me, Tom, and the neighbors, then watched the young woman's video. "Ma'am, clean this up," the officer said. Linda backed away. "I will not be silenced. This is a conspiracy." When an officer tried to guide her to the patrol car, she yanked her arm free. "Don't touch me. I know my rights." It was a masterclass in self-destruction. Linda ignored every warning, interrupted the cops, and tried to storm back to my bin. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for disorderly conduct, criminal littering, and harassment," the officer said, pulling out handcuffs. Linda's jaw dropped. "Do you know who I am? This is outrageous." As they cuffed her, she kept yelling, "This is why property values are dropping. No one respects authority." The cops read her rights, loaded her into the car, and told Tom to ensure the trash was moved to her yard. The fallout was swift. The neighbor's video exploded online, dubbed the Trash Tyrant Linda, racking up 300,000 VYUs in 2 days. The city slapped Linda with a due lot $2,000 fine for illegal dumping. The HOA board held an emergency meeting, voting unanimously to boot her for misconduct. I was walking my dog when she got the letter. Her scream, "This is unfair. I've given years to this place," echoed through her open window. And the kicker? At the next HOA meeting, they nominated me to take her spot. The vote was unanimous. I couldn't help but smile. Sometimes the trash takes itself out.